A very good morning to all present here. I am Akshitha, studying in grade 10 of the Indian Public School, Trichy. Let me start with a quick question. How many of you here have ever argued with yourselves? Yeah, me too. And honestly, I lose every single time. The day before my math exam, my brain decided to become a stand-up comedian. It whispered, "Hey Akshitha, do you remember that one formula you skipped today?" Guess what? That's question 1. I laughed, then whispered, then stared at my notes like they would suddenly apologize. We often say that words have power, but the most powerful ones are the ones we whisper silently to ourselves. Yes, I'm talking about self-talk. It is that little narrator inside your head, the one who comments on everything. When you wake up late, it goes, "Nice job, future Olympic sprinter. Now go chase the bus." When you ace a test, it probably says, "Okay, calm down, Einstein. You're not joining NASA yet." But when things go wrong, that same voice can turn into your worst critic. That voice can lift you up or tear you apart. And that's what it did for me. During my revision weeks, that voice didn't just talk, it screamed, "You're not ready, you'll forget everything, everyone else is ahead of you." It was like having a dramatic roommate living inside my head rent-free. I would get so anxious that I would waste hours worrying instead of studying. And that's when I realized, you can't mute those voices, but you can decide which version of it you listen to. That voice can sound harmless until it starts running your entire life like a bossy manager you never hired. It convinces you that fear is safer than courage. It tells you, "Don't raise your hand. What if you say something dumb? Don't try out that new hobby. What if you were horrible at it?" And we listen. All of a sudden, we are taking advice from a voice that has not accomplished anything except giving us anxiety. We start shrinking our dreams until they fit neatly inside our comfort zones, like stuffing an elephant into a shoebox and then pretending it's just normal. Our world becomes smaller, not because of failure, but because of fear. Or, as I like to call it, the Wi-Fi signal of confidence, which drops right before when we need it the most. Sometimes I wonder, are these voices actually me? The dramatic, overthinking, the professional level critic version? Maybe not entirely, but they are not useless either. They're like that brutally honest friend who points out your flaws a little too loudly, and I agree sometimes goes completely overboard. The trick is learning when to listen to them and when to tell them, "Okay, calm down, I've got this." One evening before my revision exam, that voice whispered again, "Akshitha, what if you cannot tackle these chapters? Then how are you going to tackle tomorrow's exam?" And that thought struck me. And I replied, wait. What if I can tackle these tiny, annoying little voices that keep popping in my head and still show up? Why can I not handle one exam on paper tomorrow? That line became a mini mantra. I didn't magically silence those voices. In fact, I'm still learning to face them in every new situation. But now I talk back. "Okay, I hear you, but we are still doing this. Little by little, those voices started learning some manners. They became less of a bully and more of a friend. I agree, who sometimes need to chill. Over time, I noticed something magical. Those voices learn. The more I practiced kindness in my thoughts, the less cruel they became. When I started saying, okay, I'm learning, I've tried my best, that voice echoed it back. It's like training a puppy. You feed it patience, and soon it stops biting you. Positive self-talk is not about pretending that everything is perfect. Rather, it's about reminding yourself that you can handle what's not. It does not erase fear. Rather, it teaches you to work with it. It is not ego. It's emotional first aid. You know what's funny? There are two voices in our head. One yells, "You're going to mess this up." But the other one calmly goes, "Relax, you can do it." But somehow, we all listen to the one that sounds like it's had too much caffeine. But when we finally tune into the calm one, life feels different. Like switching your background music from a horror movie to a rom-com. Same scene, just little screaming. And you know about my inner critic? Yeah, it has zero chill. When you wear something new, it comments, "Who do you think you are? Oogs next cover?" When you post a photo, it whispers, "Delete it before someone screenshots it." It's like having your own personal YouTube comment section running in your brain 24 hours. Constant opinion, no unsubscribe button. Even Taylor Swift once joked that her brain is like an unwanted playlist that keeps on playing embarrassing moments. Same Taylor, same. Even standing here today on the stage took me the same practice. When I first saw that TEDx poster, my brain whispered, "You at TEDx talk? Sweet dream, kid." I almost didn't register. But that calmer, wiser part of me replied, "If you can tackle those endless chapters and handle this tiny annoying voice and still show up, why can you not handle this?" So here I am, heart racing, palms sweaty of course, not because I've just conquered my fears, but because I'm still learning to speak louder and powerful than them. That same voice also changes how we connect with people. There was a time when I really wanted to text a friend after a small misunderstanding, just to clear it up, but that voice, it screamed, "Don't! What if they ignore you? Don't! What if they think you care too much? Don't! What if you sound cringe?" So I did nothing. Days passed, the gap grew. Not because we were angry at each other, of course not. But because we decided to listen to that inner voice and stay quiet. I realized silence is not peace, it's fear in disguise. And true courage is not being louder, it's being honest. There's this funny thing about fear. It does not need facts, just imagination. People have cancelled trips because of turbulence that never happened, or avoided talking to someone just because their mind wrote a whole rejection story in advance. Basically, our brain is the world's best fiction writer, just that it forgets to label it fiction. Scientists say that our brain listens to what we actually tell it. Every "I can't" creates fear. Rather, every "I'll try" releases dopamine, the motivational chemical. If you tell your brain "I'm hopeless," then it starts taking notes like it never did. But if you tell it "I'm learning," it starts collecting proof to agree with what you said. The science behind is simple. You are the author of your own thoughts. To prove this, psychologists at Stanford ran a study called the self-compassion break. They asked students to replace negative self-talk with these 3 short sentences. You are not alone. This is just a moment. May I be kind to myself right now. Within 2 weeks, stress levels dropped, confidence rose, and that inner voice began sounding more of a calm friend instead of a drill sergeant. So yes, science literally says that kindness reprograms your thought. Most of our dreams don't die because of failure. They die because of overthinking. That inner voice says, you are not talented enough. You will embarrass yourself. Somebody else already does it better. But imagine if J.K. Rowling or Steve Jobs had listened to that voice. Rowling was rejected 12 times before Harry Potter was published. Jobs was fired from his own company before creating the iPhone. They were not fearless. In fact, none of us are fearless. But they were just persistent enough to say, let's try again. Let's try something quick. No pressure. Think of that one mini panic thought you always get. Like, I'm totally going to mess this up. Or, they all think I'm weird. Now, imagine those voices coming from a cartoon character. Maybe SpongeBob saying it dramatically. Suddenly, it's not scary. It's just ridiculous. That's the trick. When you train your inner voice to sound funny, it loses power. Because humor can turn fear into something you can manage and maybe even laugh at. And another example that always inspires me is about Michael Phelps. The swimming legend who has got more gold than a jewelry shop. Even he once admitted that before races, his bride would whisper, "You're going to mess this up." But his coach made him visualize victory and repeat, "This is what I'm built for." Turns out that this mantra helped him swim through doubts and of course some world records too. It helped him win 23 Olympic golds, not just because he trained his body, but because he trained his inner voice too. A beautiful example of how the same powerful self-talk which can pull you down can also help shape you towards victory. Because our voice is not trying to scare us. It's just testing us how brave we'll be in answering back. And it's not just athletes. Every day, people use self-talk to turn chaos into calm. Think of students before results, performers before standing onto the stage, even parents before parent-teacher meeting. Everyone has that one inner pep talk line. You have got this. One more try. I will survive this. The words change. Everybody tackle our inner voice in different ways. But the mission is the same. To turn fear into focus. So today, I want you all to take back this with you. The most powerful conversation you will ever have is the one no one else can hear. Yeah, absolutely no one else but yourself. You don't have to silence your doubts. Just turn down their volume. When your thoughts say, "They will judge me," reply, "Let them." When they say, "You can't," smile and say, "Watch me." Because when you can change the words inside your head, you can change the story of your life. And maybe, just maybe, The voices in your head can become the voices that shapes tomorrow. Thank you.